The Rangers are looking for a new hitting coach, and they may stay within house to determine who that might be. And the World Series starts tonight. Wow, what an exciting day for baseball. It's all coming up as we talk about it on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Job of the new Rangers hitting coach is simple. Make sure everybody can hit like that guy, Corey Seager. That's all he's got to do. Very simple job. Just get everybody hitting as well as Corey Seager does. Actually, there would be nothing simple about that as we welcome you into the DLLS Sports Studios. We're in the podcast room today as we bring you the DLLS Rangers podcast. Rads, that's John Radigan with Abs. That's Abby Jones and J-Dub. That's Jeff Wilson. We've got the Prophet over there. That's Elijah, and we're glad to have you as a part of it. We see BC already in the chat. That's a big Dodgers fan, and we know this is a big day for him, and really all fans of the Dodgers, all fans of the Yankees, and I think in so many ways all fans of baseball because it's a pretty exciting World Series.
It is. I've said this multiple times. I love the history that's involved, and hopefully the Fox crew will shed light on that because it's so rich and all the players. Just all the way back to Brooklyn, 1941 was the first matchup. It's just you look at the players. I mean, Joe DiMaggio was in the 41 World Series, and then you just all the greats: Koufax, Jackie Robinson,
Duke Snider,
Mickey Mantle, Duke Snider.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep going. Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
Just you could go on, and then into the 70s and 80s with Reggie Jackson and Fernando Valenzuela. So it's fantastic. And again, all the money that they spend, and they're the big bad. No, they have all the money. They're buying titles. They haven't played each other since 1981.
Right.
So it's not like money is buying them success.
No.
Or head-to-head matchups.
Yeah.
It's not them every year. It hasn't happened since 1981. So that's something else to keep an eyeball on.
It's the best players in the game of baseball going head-to-head. You have so many future Hall of Famers in the first few spots of the lineup alone. You have the probable AL MVP, the probable NL MVP. You've got history galore, like Jeff mentioned. You've got guys that have multiple World Series rings. You've got guys that have yet to win a World Series ring. That's the only thing missing from their Hall of Fame resume. So much to get into. I can't wait. I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, I am too. And just speaking of that history quickly, and we'll get to the Rangers in 1 second and then back to this. But I saw a picture of the programs of the other times they have all faced these two teams have faced each other, the other 11. And the 1941 program was 25 cents. 25 cents.
I love a time machine.
They were 50 cents for a long time. All through the 50s, they were 50 cents. And gosh knows what those would sell for now, especially that 55 one, which was the only Brooklyn Dodgers victory. In the 7 times they faced each other, the Brooklyn Dodgers only won one of those. And then, of course, the L.A. Dodgers have won a couple since they faced each other in a bi-coastal type rather than a subway series. So anyway, so much history, so much fun. Talk about it all as we continue. But, Jeff, the Rangers, lost Tim Hyers yesterday. We all know Tim well, and you're happy, first of all, for Tim because he gets to go home. Yeah,
this kind of goes back to the Rangers and their family and wanting to do things right. It's kind of their core value. They're not going to stand in the way of a guy who has been instrumental in their success, especially the World Series. A chance to go be with his family. That Tim is from Georgia, a I believe Atlanta, or
Yeah,
at
he
least
grew
the
up
area.
like 30 minutes east of Atlanta.
So for him to have the opportunity to go home and be with his family, coach the Braves for the Braves, it's the right thing to do professionally, and for him personally, but professionally for the Rangers. So I really liked him. I got a little bit closer to him this year as we talked about the struggles of the offense. But yeah, so that it's an unexpected probably hire, but they have an internal candidate. I think Seth Connor will get a serious look at replacing him. Donnie Ecker is still going to be the offensive coordinator, the guy who oversees it all, and he works with the hitters a lot too. So it's not like it's going to be a major shakeup. Now, they could go outside, I suppose. They could consider promoting Cody Atkinson, who's the minor league hitting coordinator, and we'll see what happens with that. But they do have a vacancy on the staff that I don't think they were expecting they would have. But it happens every year, basically.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, one thing is really true about baseball, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach. By the later years in your career, you want to go close to home. And when that makes sense, you're going to take that option 10 times out of 10. I mean, we saw it last year with CJ Nikowski, and just him to be able to go back home and, be a part of that Atlanta Braves broadcast. And he's had so much fun, and he's, CJ's so elite at his job, but he's really meshed well with their team and seems innovative and fun and adding a lot to that broadcast there. So, it's a sad thing for Rangers fans to part ways, but at the same time, you'll see him again.
Yeah.
And no, it makes so much more sense for Tim and his family.
It does, and it's a great point that you make. At some point in your career, you're hoping to get home, and like in the case of CJ or in the case of Tim, now at least when they have home games, they're
they get
home.
to sleep in their bed.
Right?
They get to go home to their
home
wife's
for home
cooking.
Games, right?
Yeah.
CJ was never home for home games or road games, and neither was Tim, except for that rare chance when we had 3 in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even like they were from a city that we play frequently. So that's one thing. But it goes even beyond that. When we were talking after the show yesterday, and hopefully you got a chance to see our show with John Daniels yesterday. We really had fun with JD on here, but we were all chatting after the show just about life in general. And he said, I've had some teams contact me, which isn't surprising, to be involved in, maybe even as their general manager. And he said, at this point, I got 3 kids in high school, basically. I don't want that yet. I want to live my life, right? You don't realize really as a fan how all-encompassing this job is. And so if you get to be home when the team is home, it helps a lot.
Yeah, and I love what Coop says. One more positive about our organization is we care about the guys' personal lives. It is a business, so I mean that's, first and foremost, but there's a lot of great-hearted people here that, understand, hey, these guys are people too. They, they miss holidays with their family. They've missed multiple years, multiple months and days. And, I think when you can just make that adjustment, make it a little bit easier on your family, everyone's going to be appreciative.
Well, in CJ's case, he would fly home on off days and to catch one of his kids' games.
Yep.
And take red eyes, from LA to Atlanta and not sleep just so he could be more present. And that's tough, man. And, I appreciate it now that I have 2 kids of my own and I'm not traveling as much. Some of that's by design. And, like my wife, God bless her, she can't be 2 places at once because inevitably the kids are playing at the same time in different venues.
Yeah.
I mean, that's happening tomorrow, in fact. So, we can't, she can't be there, and it's not fair to the grandparents or brother-in-law or whoever to constantly be there. And I want to watch them play.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, that's outside of a Texas football loss, my favorite sporting outcome is when one of my kids' teams wins. So, so anyway, I want to be there for that stuff.
Yeah. So you liked last Saturday then? Yeah,
I did. It's pretty interesting. I grew up in Colorado and watching the College World Series, and I had an uncle, technically a cousin, but he's so old, he's like my uncle. And he went to Texas, and I really liked Texas baseball. And because they were always on the College World Series.
Yeah.
And so we watched, and I really loved Texas, and I thought I wanted to go there. And as I got older, things evolved, but I never really disliked Texas. But then in the 2001 Big 12 title game, it was against Colorado, and my parents went to Colorado, so we went to the game, and Colorado gets out to a lead, and Chris Sims plays like crap in the first half, and Texas fans are booing him, just mercilessly, and that drove me crazy. It's like, this is a college kid, you cheered for him throughout the season. And, they were like, well, we got to get Major Applewhite in the game. And then Major Applewhite comes in. They go crazy. And I was like, that's it. I'm out. I'm out on Texas fans.
Wow.
And then it's kind of continued. And great talent. I mean, I understand that they're a great football team this year. And they're good in everything, honestly. But, yeah, I really enjoy it when Texas loses.
Man, took the moral high ground against the fan base. But you're right. I hate that. I hate the same thing. So interesting. All right. Quickly on this, hitting coach search. And we said, Seth Connor's got a pretty good chance. He's done a great job as the assistant hitting coach. The distinction here is that Hyers worked, I think, more right hands-on, more, in the cage, in the trenches with the hitters, whereas Donnie is kind of more of a big picture offense guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's they're both dialed into the biometrics and things like that. That's really Donnie's specialty. If you talk to Donnie about hitting, it's like he's speaking a different language.
Yeah, we're going to get him in here like we did JD.
You really have
it's
to.
amazing.
You'll
really
love an hour with that guy. Yeah,
you really have to
Gotta
think
listen.
about what he says.
Yeah,
and if you don't understand it, you can ask, and he will answer it in layman's terms. But it just seemed like, maybe Tim. They're both very personal guys and nice guys, and they do all work with the hitters. But I think, the offensive coordinator title kind of suggests that Donnie kind of sets the tone for the entire organization from the top down. And a lot of it is looking at biometrics and figuring things out, making swings work. I'm not saying that Tim is able to better relate to ball players and speak their language, but it seemed like, just from my eye test, what I saw, it seemed like Tim was down there, kind of a little more hands-on, maybe. Not that Donnie wasn't hands-on, but he was kind of overseeing things. He'd stand behind the cage, whereas Tim might grab a guy and say, hey, that's good, but, keep whatever.
Yeah. Give him those specifics. So, that's the distinction in the coaches, but there will be a new hitting coach. I mean, it's kind of amazing. We were talking about it before the show, just how many coaches that these big league organizations have now. But
right.
But they have a hitting coach. They have an assistant hitting coach. I didn't even realize this, having not been traveling with the team as much. Jeff was just telling me they have 3 bullpen catchers now.
They do.
3.
They do. And
it's a long season.
Yeah.
It's a long season, but, throwing off a flat ground like guys do before games, or going out early and doing stuff. They split those duties up, but Josh Frazier's kind of been the guy who's been there since I was before I was there, and he's a fun guy to talk to, big workout guy.
Yeah, big reader.
Yeah,
he reads.
Pat Cantwell, who was one of the team's former, I think he was a 4th-round pick from Stony Brook of all places. And he never made it to the major leagues, but good for him. And then Chase Casale, his brother's Kurt Casale, who's been a big league catcher. So they've got some knowledge, and hey, those guys work hard too. They travel, they feel it too.
Oh, they do. Yeah. Absolutely. What other former Rangers from Stony Brook?
Joe Nathan.
Yes, Joe Nathan.
Hey, Travis Jankowski, Stony Brook.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
He's another one. Wow.
Jank.
So he's hopefully maybe a current Ranger. We'll see.
We'll see what happens there.
Yeah. See what happens there.
I hope.
Lots more coming up. We've got more to talk about on that World Series. How exciting, how fun it is, how much fun it's going to be over the course of the next week or so. And we're also going to get into a couple of the things that are so unbelievable about this World Series. We'll also go back in time and show you Shohei Ohtani's goals from high school. That's all coming up. Plus, our predictions on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
If you guys were watching earlier this week, I think it was Wednesday, I wore my Roback hat with the black hat with the white dog silhouette, their logo. Roback is great. Everything they do is terrific. The hat, my wife loves it. I love it. Their shirts is what they're kind of known for, though. They're moisture wicking shirts. So it's been in the 90s this week, and we're almost at the end of October. Got a golf tournament. You played in one. I'm playing in one. You need those shirts that don't stick to you when you start to sweat a little bit, and that's kind of where Roback's performance polos come into play. And the collars don't lose their shape. They've got a bunch of variety of fun prints. I saw a guy walking back from lunch the other day. He had one that had margarita mixings on it. So pretty fun. And they have shorts, they have joggers, they have a lot of stuff, and they cater to the ladies too. So use the code DLLS20 on Roback.com for a generous 20% off your first order. That's spelled RHOBACK. Don't forget the H. That's 20% off all polos, hoodies, and shorts with the code DLLS Rangers 20. Sorry, DLLS Rangers 20. Check them out today.
Yeah, get us our credit there if you would. And I'll give credit now to the wonderful people at HelloFresh, because last night we had another HelloFresh meal. We made the pork stir fry, is essentially what they call it, something different, but it's pork stir fry, and it's fantastic. It had the hoisin sauce, it had the soy sauce, it had the sweet chili Thai sauce. It was fantastic. So easy to make. Ridiculously easy. We were looking for one we could do in 15 or 20 minutes. We absolutely did it. I want you to get HelloFresh. I know we'll be getting more. And you can get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/DLLS Rangers /DLLS Rangers. Applied across 7 boxes. New subscriptions only. The plans vary, but that's 10 free HelloFresh meals just by going HelloFresh.com. That's a fantastic deal.
Free Rangers is the code.
Yeah.
And if you don't start inviting me to dinner, Rads,
I know.
I'm going to get upset. They're like,
I saved some. I'll have to bring it in.
I could help Miss Kathy in the kitchen.
Yeah, I saved some, and I'll bring it,
Okay.
and you can heat it up. That's just fantastic. The pork was delicious. So, we're big fans of HelloFresh. Now, this is a crazy World Series in that, as you mentioned off the top, Abs, you've got basically so much talent at the top. They
So
feel
much
like there
star
are
power.
7 guys right now. They feel like there are, if you count Clayton Kershaw, who won't play, but who's still a part of the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
If you count Clayton Kershaw, Jeff's going to a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Switching it up.
I wondered about the hat. You weren't wearing a hat in the first segment.
Yeah, I forgot it.
You forgot a hat?
Well, I went to the gym and showered at the gym, and all the things I packed, I did not pack a hat. So, I had my workout hat, but it's disgusting. And
Okay.
I didn't want to do that to you guys. So
Thank you.
anyway,
We're going Cowboy
gonna
Jeff
try to
today.
we're gonna try out a couple hats here.
Yeehaw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you got it.
But so you've got as many as 7 Hall of Famers, between these two clubs, and it's the most in a World Series since 1996, when there were 9 future Hall. Now we know.
Oh wow. Yeah.
We know how many of the 96 guys ended up in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, we don't know how many of these guys will, and we're saying 7, but some of the young guys, right? They could
even more
develop into Hall of Famers. So there could be more than 7, but just looking at the numbers of their careers so far, there are 7 people who would be predicted to be in the Hall of Fame based on what they've already accomplished in their career. That's star power, Abs.
You know what's so funny? Last night I was at the Mavs game, and Clay and Luka warm up at the exact same time.
Okay.
And I was like, this is too much star power, because I'm used to, Luka warmed up with like Markieff Morris before. So all my attention's on Luka, obviously. Now I'm like split screening, and I was with my phone last night. Luka, Clay. Luka, Clay.
Yeah.
So I imagine that is this times 7. Yeah. No, it's some of the best players in the game, and it's again like, what are people going to be happy with? They didn't love the Rangers Diamondbacks World Series. Okay, now you get the best in the game, and you're still not happy about it. So it's like, what do you really want to see? I want to see this.
Yeah,
Just me.
It's a mini All-Star game.
It is.
It's
That matters.
that matters. That's right. That counts. I'm kind of looking up the 96
Yeah.
teams
Roster.
because that's pretty interesting. I've got Jeter, Raines, Boggs, and Rivera from the Yankees.
Yeah.
Maddox,
Glavine.
Smoltz, Glavine.
Yeah.
I continue to vote for Andrew Jones. I think Andrew Jones should be in the Hall of Fame because he was the premier center fielder for a number of years.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets in. So that's pretty solid. So then we're talking Soto, Judge. Are we talking Stanton?
I think
Stanton.
we're talking Stanton.
Okay. I mean, Garrett Cole really is trajectory is going that way, in my opinion. So that would be 4. Then the 3 at the top of the Dodgers lineup. Kershaw, who's not on this roster, would be another one because he's clearly going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be like one of the World Series you remember for a while.
You hope it lives up to the hype.
You do.
That's the thing. You can build these things up, and gosh, who knows? It could be a sweep. Like the Bay series, let's say in '89. Obviously, the earthquake got in the way of it, but it was built up.
Yes.
And then the next year, '90 World Series is the A's against this little Reds team, and the Reds swept.
Reds, yeah.
So, you hope that nothing. We don't want a 4-game series or a 5-game series.
These teams are too good, I think, to let that happen. Hopefully.
Yeah, you hope. I think. I guess we'll be making our predictions. Are we going to do it now, or are we going to?
No,
do
I
it
think
later?
we'll do it
Okay.
when we start to talk about Ohtani's goals.
Well,
yeah.
the thing that concerns me if I'm a Dodgers fan is the bullpen usage and the fact that you're going to have a bullpen game in New York without a day off. That's a concern. I think that the Yankees have the edge in starting pitching. I mean, the lineups might be a wash. They really might be. So I mean, it's and then the managers are both good. It's funny they were college rivals.
Yeah,
because Aaron Boone went to USC and Roberts went to UCLA, and I saw Aaron Boone threw some grenades at him. He said, "You're a Trojan for life, but a Bruin for 4 years."
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, Roberts didn't.
But
however,
they
said
that they didn't like each other at the time, but now they've formed a friendship. But and Garrett Cole went to UCLA. And, so everybody's talking about the homecoming for Jack Flaherty. It's a homecoming for him too.
Sure, absolutely. And I title these segments as we put them in our little rundown. I called this one the 4 Horsemen, like the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. The Notre Dame linemen who were nicknamed that by Grantland Rice way back then. And I tell you what, the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse would be, any one of them would have killed to have the bodies and the body of work of the 4 Horsemen we're talking about here. We're talking about the 4 hardest hitters in the game. And we have some statistics to back this up. And there are many more than we'll show you or we'll be able to show you. But take a look as we see what these guys can do at the plate. And you'll see one of the reasons that I begin to lean toward the Yankees, and we'll get to the predictions later. But of the 4, 3 are Yankees there. This is the highest hit barrels rate, right? This is hitting the barrel of the bat, which is obviously, that's all guys talk about when they come back. I barreled it up. Even if they made an out, they're like, it's okay, I barreled it up, you know? And this is the guys who have hit the barrel the most in a minimum of 300 batted balls. Judge, Ohtani, Soto, Stanton. I mean, not surprising probably, but, and again, all those guys are well over 50%.
Yeah.
They're barreling it up over 50% of the time against today's pitching.
Today's pitching, tough. You're not getting any cookies, at least not on purpose.
No.
Mookie Betts not on the list. He was in the home run derby a couple of years ago. He doesn't do that. I mean, he has 30 homer power, but that's not Mookie Betts. Max Muncy hits a lot of balls hard.
Yes.
That's another guy to keep an eye on. Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers, also does that. So, there aren't a lot of holes in these lineups, but that's an interesting point. Hit the ball hard, find the barrel. It's usually going to go, and with Stanton and Judge, they could be power forwards.
Yes, that's what. They absolutely.
They're so strong.
They would have dominated that line of Notre Dame linemen, right? back in the day with the four horsemen. So, and then to just kind of further illustrate the point, one other list, because I love these lists where these four are at the top of the list. There are several where they're scattered within the top 5 or whatever, but also on the most big-time home runs hit out of the ballpark. Over 110. Over 110. Shohei leads that list, followed by Aaron Judge and then Stanton and Juan Soto. So, just a very interesting raw display of power, I think, that we've seen. Now, will we see it in the World Series, Abs, where pitching becomes so important? And they don't pitch to all these guys.
That's correct. It's just like you can't even explain the magnitude of how good these guys are. I mean, Ohtani, Judge, Stanton, and Soto have combined to hit 33 home runs, 440 feet or longer. Judge, his longest of the year, 477. Ohtani's 476. Stanton, 451. Soto's 400. I mean, this is going to be like home run derby. I mean, sounds ridiculous, but honestly true. And just the power is going to be unmatched. I mean, the pitching matchups are going to be a thing, but I don't know. I feel like this is going to be just such a mesh of everything that you love about baseball.
Yeah, and it's, I really love starting pitching. I've always just growing up, it was like, probably my first 2 favorite players when I really got dialed into baseball were Rick Sutcliffe and Dwight Gooden, right? I love Sutcliffe on the 84 Cubs, and then Gooden. How can you not like Dwight Gooden during those years? And then I morphed into, we had TBS too. So we were there when the Braves started acquiring those pieces and bringing them up. They were still bad teams with Smoltz and Glavine, Steve Avery, but then when they got Maddox, who of course was with the Cubs, so we got WGN and TBS going back and forth. So that's kind of my forte. I love the starting pitching. So it's I'm a little disturbed by the trends here with starting pitching. Count me in Max Scherzer's corner on that one, but it's definitely offense. Offensive players are the stars of the series, hands down.
I'm with you, though, on the pitching.
Yeah.
And I do want pitching to somehow prevail anytime, right?
Sure.
Every time, if possible.
I have another stat I just found. Sorry. Because I actually had this in my notes earlier this week. But Soto, Stanton, and Ohtani all barrel the ball 1 out of every 5 times that they put the ball in play. Judge, 1 out of every 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. But and when they aren't barreling them, they're strong enough to hit a blooper.
Yeah.
Get a ball to fall in or something like that. So these guys are talented.
And all right, so Soto, no, but it's Judge, it's Stanton's, and it's Ohtani's first World Series appearance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to play into it,
That's cool. Yeah.
So
no doubt. And especially really all of them, but Stanton foremost among them. He's played the longest, right? Get to this point.
Right.
Man, he wants this in the worst way.
I've also got a list. Most home runs by a player before their World Series appearance. Stanton is 5th on the list, 429.
Who's ahead of him?
Barry Bonds, 613 at the top. Alex Rodriguez, Jeff Bagwell, Vladdy Guerrero. So,
okay, yeah.
Pretty neat list.
Then, another X factor. I know we got to get to our ads, but the weather. The weather is going to be beautiful in LA, of course.
Yeah.
But when you go to New York, it's going to get a little bit colder now. I don't know how cold, but let's see. Am I looking at? I'm trying to call it up. Oh, here we go. It's 60 degrees right now in the Bronx, but
not bad.
Not bad. But these will be night games, so it'll be in the 40s and 50s. It's harder to hit when it's cold.
And again, like JD was talking about yesterday about the Rangers, the Heat using their advantage. I mean, Yankees are going to know how to handle that.
Sure.
So
they've got the turtlenecks, which, by the way, those turtlenecks are actually the turtlenecks from the 90s. They had a choice of newer, wicking material, but they liked the old cotton ones, and they were still in a storage room somewhere. So those guys are actually wearing the same turtle. I mean, not the exact same ones,
Right.
but the same batch of turtlenecks
Yeah.
that Jeter and
That's
pretty funny.
Paul O'Neill and all those guys wore.
Let's just
Bernie
see
Williams.
what the Yankees were doing yesterday too, because
Speaking of uniforms,
if this is any indication of this series, I am scared.
I'm here for it. I am.
I love it. Elijah, you have that photo? I don't know if he's listening, but
He's listening.
I mean, this is nightmare fuel if you're the Dodgers.
Yep.
Aaron Judge is taking BP fully dressed.
What does that mean?
That is psychotic
Yeah.
in the best
There's
way.
Stanton too in the background. I wonder if they just come off the set for the TV commercials or
Just the two
TV
of them, or
spots.
did everybody wear their uniform?
Not everyone, but a good bit of them did.
You're probably right. They were probably throwing the leaves.
or,
right?
maybe they're just sending a message. Hey, we're practicing in our uniforms.
We're here to play.
We're not here
Yeah.
to screw
Either
around this
way,
week.
I was a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
No, it is. It's very cool. So
That's amazing.
More to talk about. We'll get to Shohei Ohtani's high school goals. This is amazing to see what he thought he could do, and then to see what he's already done. That's coming up. We'll also get to some more fun news, notes, and nuggets from the World Series as we get ready for Game 1 tonight. That's all coming up on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Hey, guys, we've talked about Empire today for a while now, and thanks for their support, but support them, because if you need new flooring, whether it's carpet or whether it's hardwoods, this is the place to go. They are flooring only people, and they make it so easy with their shopping at home convenience. You don't have to go out to a big box store and get advice from a guy who is just selling plumbing equipment. You're getting people who specialize in the carpet, and on the at home deal, they have a virtual floor designer, so you can check it out. Just take it in any room in your house, and you're going to see what the floors you want are going to look like. They at Empire Today, they service their own warranties, but you're never going to need a warranty because it's Empire Today, and it's like the top stuff, and they have a low price guarantee. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DLLS for details.
And while you're at it, go ahead and stop by Roback. Again, just want to show support there. With Roback, you can use the code DLLS20 for 20% off. And then while you're checking out Roback, FOCO has a pretty nifty World Series edition bobblehead.
Very cool.
They have Shohei Ohtani. There we go. Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, one of a kind bobblehead. I mean, that's pretty.
It's pretty sweet.
I want that.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not going to lie.
I'm slightly interested in purchasing that because it's two of the MVPs in the World Series. I don't know if I'll ever get over saying that. So just ignore me this week. But DLLS for 10% off.
Yeah, fantastic. We're fans. We're fans of both Roback and FOCO, and we're fans of you hanging out with us. Don't forget to like us, subscribe to us, and we do invite you, and we're going to have a full spot on this in a minute, but join us as a diehard. This is not the spot. This is just a quick reminder. We've had so many new people join with our new introductory rate, and we want you to be one of them.
$4 a month.
Yeah, so join us soon, and we'll get to that spot in just a minute. But for now, we go back in time to Shohei Ohtani's
to a baby
high school.
Shohei?
Yeah, to show his high school goals. And fortunately, I can read Japanese. So I was able to just look at him.
Look at you.
Yeah, I found a list, and I just looked at him, and somebody else translated them. Let's take a look at the list of Shohei Ohtani's goals. And this is, I don't know if he was, obviously he wasn't 18 yet when he wrote them. By age 18, he wanted to join an MLB team. He didn't quite do that, but he was playing professional baseball in Japan by then. By 19, he wanted to reach AAA. He'd never played AAA. When he started in Japan, he got signed by the LA Angels, and he came straight to their ball club. Never even had to play in the minor leagues. age 20, wanted to make his MLB debut and make $13 million. Can you imagine putting that on your goal list? And he's far surpassed that. By age 21, he wanted to make a rotation and have 16 wins. He wanted to win a Cy Young Award. He wanted to get married. He checked that one off, and he wants to win a World Series. That one's still pending. So there you go. Oh, and there we go. There's a chef, Jeff. That's Chef
Jeff.
I don't know, just trying out some different looks.
Trying different hats. I would love to see you wear that every day to the ballpark. Once we start the season next year, you start.
I don't think I'd make it out of day one.
We'll
you start wearing
I
a
don't know
chef
if it'll
hat.
go over well in the clubhouse or
that
not.
would be so funny. You think they wouldn't see you coming, though? They're like, hey, I'm talking to the chef.
There's somebody that loves to cook there, I'm sure.
Josh Young loves to cook.
Yeah.
He's really gotten into cooking.
Yeah, he did that.
With all the injuries he's had to occupy his mind.
Microwave.
Oh, no, he's got
he took like these
grilling
chef
setup.
courses.
He took classes. He's into it. You know, he's a curious mind, and got to keep his mind active.
He really is.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's pretty interesting about Ohtani. One thing that stood out to me is he said win a Cy Young Award, not win an MVP. So back in high school,
he was thinking he was
thinking pitching, and that he wouldn't be able to do both. But here he is, the best hitter, one of the best hitters in the world. So that's pretty interesting. He did get married here in the last offseason. Hasn't won the Cy Young.
Check.
Hasn't won the World Series. So he can take care of one of those here in the next 10 days.
Yep, no doubt. And I think that Cy Young, that's going to be a tall order under any circumstances if he is playing both ways, right? I mean, if he ever dedicates himself, if he's injured such, like this year, he was injured such that he couldn't pitch. If he's ever injured such that he can't hit, I believe he might have a chance to win the Cy Young. But I think it's tough when he's playing, as a hitter and as a pitcher.
Yeah, because he has to do both. You can't skimp. You got to do both, and it just takes a toll.
I'd be really interested. Obviously, if he wins MVP, he's not disappointed.
Right.
Clearly.
No.
But if you never even knew you were capable of that, I wonder which would mean more. Something that you wrote down when you were however old he was, hey, I knew I wanted to do this all along, or hey, I'm winning this MVP award that I never even thought I would qualify.
It's a possibility. I didn't even think I'd have a chance at an MVP.
Which one would really mean more?
Yeah.
I'd be interested.
It's a good question.
I'll call him.
Well, now that he hasn't done it, I guess, he's got to win that Cy Young.
But it is interesting just because writing down the list, I mean, I think, manifestation's real. And when you write things down and when you see it every single day, I mean, you're more than likely going to make those things happen. PJ Washington of the Dallas Mavericks had a similar list that he wrote down, and I read them off to him, and almost every single one of them came true. And just to have, that's got to be one of the greatest gifts, something that you did when you were so young, to look back and, tell your little kid self, hey, I kind of made all that happen, and the Amen and Asar Thompson brothers of NBA, they made a similar list. They made kind of a contract with themselves and their dad, and 200 sit-ups, and in between commercials, they had to do 100 push-ups and all of these things. And it's one of those things that it's silly if it doesn't work out, because that's a large part of your life. But if it does, I mean, that's got to be the coolest gift that you could give yourself, is just, hey, I did this,
Oh, no question. What an accomplishment, and what a sense of, satisfaction a guy would feel for having accomplished something like that. No doubt Ohtani feels that.
And just to make this even more full circle of the list, let's take a look at one of the reasons that Ohtani is even a Dodger to begin with. The big part, the ace in the back of the Dodgers' pocket, was a video of the late, great Kobe Bryant convincing Shohei to join the Dodgers. And, we've just talked about the importance of Kobe Bryant, even more so now that he's gone. If I were Shohei Ohtani, hilarious sentence, but if I were, that would be my sealed deal.
Well, and it's truly amazing that in the day, and there you see, in the day, as the Dodgers were trying to woo him, when he signed with the Angels, there's Kobe, and they knew, everybody knew,
he was going to
he is worldwide. He is that guy who even this young man from Japan is going to know what a significant man, what a great person, he will help shift. And it didn't in that case. There were other factors.
Right.
But then how much more would it mean? Because they showed it to him again. They were recruiting him again this past offseason.
Yeah.
And they used the video
6-year-old
again.
video. And,
Yeah.
Kobe's, he has such a huge following across the seas. Like, Japan, I mean, he's so famous there. And in all the documentaries, I mean, it's like he can't go anywhere. So I even think just the fact that it's Kobe Bryant, that even, yes, here we have our own idea of Kobe Bryant. But even over there, he's still Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
It's not like LeBron James would be over there. I think people would be like, okay. But Kobe was equally as respected there as he is here.
That's amazing. Yeah, and good for him. All right, I think it's time for us to do our predictions. And, see if the chef can sort of cook something up here. Yeah, see what you can do. Oh, mine's upside down. Not that it really
All right,
matters.
fellas.
But,
right? Do we want to do MVP too?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do MVP. Are we doing how many games?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'm writing almost illegibly.
Attaboy.
Yeah. I'm afraid we're all going to have the same. That's the thing that scares me. So we won't even be able to argue.
We can argue.
Okay.
You sure? All right. Elijah, count us down.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, Elijah's got a mic over there. There's the prophet. Here's his voice.
Oh.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
All right, we got Garrett Cole. Oh, we all had different MVPs. That's good. We all had the same team winning. And Abs has this one going 7, which would be a dream come true. Jeff and I both have it going 6, which wouldn't be a bad series by any means.
Realistically, I did think 6, but I just heard too much chatter today.
Yeah.
It'd be a little different.
Explain
Yeah.
your MVP picks.
Explain them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jeez, the prophet.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will
Giving
start.
us an assignment.
Yeah.
I can start.
Go ahead.
ALCS MVP, Giancarlo Stanton, has 5 home runs, 11 RBI. He's slugging .794 in 9 games this postseason. Each of his last 4 hits are home runs, and he's home run in 3 straight games. This is his first ever World Series. He is going to do what he does, what they paid him all the money to do. He's going to win it for the boys. He's going to hit a lot of homers, and he's going to win MVP.
Okay.
Case closed.
I like Garrett Cole because he's potentially gonna set the tone here tonight in the opening game, and then he will pitch another potentially pivotal game in Game 5 if the series is even and the Yankees win that game, and he's the winning pitcher. Then it's going to be hard to not vote for him. But also maybe if we're wrong, John, in our 6 and it only goes 5, he could be the guy who closes it out. So
Yep.
I just think Garrett Cole will rise to the occasion.
We
I
got-
almost did write 5, but then...
Oh, 5.
Oh.
Oh, we don't
gentleman's
want a
sweep.
gentleman's
Yeah,
sweep.
I can't.
No.
I
I
couldn't
wrote
justify it.
Juan Soto.
The
Because
birthday boy.
it's his birthday
today.
Today.
26
26,
years old
yeah.
today. I wrote Juan Soto because he is the best hitter on the planet.
Okay.
Right?
I like it.
He's the best hitter on the planet, and he is about to get a huge payday, right? So
Great birthday
obviously,
gift.
all of these guys have made, that we've listed here, have all made a ton of money, but you only get one chance, the likes of which Juan Soto has, because he's going to sign a 12 or a 13-year contract.
Yeah.
So you want to maximize it, right? There's that little bit of extra motivation. And when these great athletes and these super talented people find just that little bit extra and utilize it to their advantage, I think that puts him over the top to be the MVP among all these great hitters and pitchers. I love a pitcher.
Yeah,
it's not easy for a
MVP.
pitcher
I
to
was about
win
to
the
say.
MVP in a
Right.
World Series.
Right.
It's not.
hard. Yeah.
But I love it. I love it in series when they do, even because when you were talking about pitching before, when I was that age that you were talking about,
Oh, yeah.
my 2 favorite pitchers were, ironically, 2 guys who met in the World Series in '68, Bob Gibson and Denny McClain.
Sure. Yeah.
And-
And then in '68, they were so good.
Yeah.
Their seasons were fantastic.
Yeah. And Bob Gibson won the MVP of the series,
even though the Tigers won.
The Tigers won the series.
I also asked the people on the internet. The people. I said, if you're anticipating the Yankees winning, I gave the options 4, 5, 6, 7, and then same with the Dodgers. Majority said Dodgers overall. Dodgers in 6, 62%. But then the Yankees' highest vote was for Yankees in 7 at 42%.
Okay. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been very good this postseason, so we might be wrong.
Your picks haven't been great. I don't love that we picked the same as you, actually, Jeff. That said, it seems to me like when I've read, and again, who are the experts? But obviously, when I've read several of the different experts who weighed in, the majority of them really do think the Dodgers have a better chance to win. I think they're trying to be as objective as they can. I don't see it because of, as we've talked about, Jeff, the pitching thing and the fact that they'll probably have to go with 2 bullpen days during the course of this World Series, and even the Walker Buehler day is just not great. He hasn't been great this year, right? Yeah. He's still recovering from Tommy John surgery, so he just hasn't been great. Yeah. So interesting. Those are the picks, and
we'll get into the starting pitchers, though.
Oh,
nothing against BC. BC, don't take it personally that we all picked the Yankees over.
No, and
we're entitled to our opinion.
And we got a super chat, so we always appreciate that, Ben, with the super chat. And we appreciate Dodgers in 6 for Ben.
Kike.
And he's got Kike as the MVP.
Interesting.
So, all right. And let Jeff cook.
We'll keep the receipts.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah,
there we go.
We will. We'll keep all these receipts. And we appreciate all of you, and we appreciate those super chats. Keep them coming. We got our first one yesterday. We were so happy to get that from Ardell, and now we've got Ben on board too. More and more coming, no doubt about it. But we've got more coming up on the show as well as we continue to talk about this. Some fun little news, notes, nuggets, and a new hat, no doubt about it, as we continue on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, and this is the time to officially talk about becoming a diehard, if you would. We really, really appreciate all of the people who have signed up to become diehards. It's our new plan, right? It's a brand new thing, and it's a limited time. And we really want you to avail yourself to this new thing. I want to read some names.
$4.
Yeah, I want to read some names if I can find them here of the people who have just recently joined us as new diehards. It's Chris, it's Nolan, it's Ryan, it's Michael, it's Patrick.
Nolan Ryan?
Jeffrey. Yeah, how about Nolan Ryan?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, all those guys.
Nolan Ryan became a diehard.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Nolan loves us. So we thank all the diehards who have joined this really cool club in Dallas. You should join it too. 20% off merch, 20% off of our events, and you get a free T-shirt when you become a diehard. And as Ab says, it's $4 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee per month.
Introductory deal.
Coffee's expensive these days.
Yeah. And we've got the merchandise too. You see it there. That's among the merchandise that you can get as a free T-shirt. But there's a lot more. I finally, as I told you yesterday, I finally ordered my shirts, but I was perusing not only ours, I was perusing everybody's, the Chicago ones. I see what you're saying about that pizza.
I want the hoodie.
Yeah,
I'm obviously a hoodie
you're a
merch
hoodie person.
This is from Travis Scott's concert.
But that one wasn't cheap.
I was about to say the Chicago's one about $100 less, I bet.
Yeah, I swear to goodness. Yeah, but anyway, lots of great merch available at store.allcitynetwork.com. We would love for you to get some of our merch. It now is coming quickly. I ordered mine day before yesterday, and yesterday morning I got a notice. It's on the way.
So fashion show via Rads.
Yeah, I got a little fashion show of my own, and so anyway, get the merch. StoreCityNetwork.com.
Starting pitchers.
Yes, we got to get to the starting matchup for tonight's game. That is, as we've mentioned, Garrett Cole, and that's not a surprise for the New York Yankees. And maybe we were wondering, and Dave Roberts announced this early in the week, but maybe a little bit surprising that it's Jack Flaherty for the Dodgers, especially when you consider his last outing which was in Game 5 of the NLCS. Oh, and look at now, Jeff's got the he's sporting the
TCU.
purple, sporting the colors.
Yeah. I am a Horned Frog, in the class of '97. Thank you very much. Flaherty, it might be a rest situation. He is well rested. Not that I think Yamamoto would have been on rest too. But now this is where you could get into the weeds. The scouting report.
Yeah.
Obviously, Flaherty. I think if Stanton is the cleanup hitter, then 3 of the Yankees' first 4 hitters bat right-handed. Maybe that gets him through the lineup, and it helps him get through the lineup the first time, and then go from there. Maybe his breaking ball plays well against these guys. I'm not sure. That's a inside baseball, inside
Sure.
Dodgers information thing. And then Cole's an ace.
Cole. Yeah.
He's an ace. So
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense for the Yankees to do that. And in fact, they pretty much named him the starter right after the end of the ALCS. So you think it favors Garrett Cole. I think it favors Garrett Cole. Obviously, it's my MVP choice, but we'll see what happens. You can look at everything on paper, and you got to go out there and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And Garrett Cole has been in this situation twice before. He has a 1-1 record in the World Series. So, he's a veteran. He's an ace for a reason. Experience does play a large part in this, because even though it's a home game for the Dodgers and, like we said, this is a homecoming for Jack Flaherty. I mean, those emotions are real. And if you've never been through it before, it'll be interesting. And, just consider where Jack Flaherty's season has been. He started with the Tigers this season. So did he think he'd be starting game 1 of the World Series?
No.
I'm going to probably go with no. But, yeah, I mean, he had the little sandwich of outings there with not so great. And then game 1 win, game 2 win. And then game 5 was horrendous.
And that game 2 win was pitching in this stadium where he'll be tonight.
Yeah.
Dodger Stadium in Chavez Ravine, and that's his home, right? And so we believe there is absolutely something to the emotions that he was feeling. Now, that was the first chance he had to pitch there in the postseason, and all those factors. Will that necessarily translate the second time he gets that opportunity? We're about to find out. The other guy who's from there, and Jeff brought up Garrett Cole being from there. I guess this part I had missed. Stanton is from the Los Angeles area too, and he remembers. Yeah, Mike Stanton he used to be Mike Stanton, and Mike Stanton as a kid used to go with his dad, Mike Stanton, to the games, and they would be out there in left field at BP. He was there, and he said he loved going during BP. We're all there during BP. He said the sound is different with the bat and the ball, and it's so quiet in there and all those things. And so he would go there and he would shag flies. Mm-hmm. Raul Mondesi and Hideo Nomo were his favorite players when he was going to games. So that's the era, right? The era you see that Giancarlo Stanton was going to games. And he told his dad as a teenager, Dad, someday I am going to hit a ball over this wall. I am going to hit a ball.
We just have
over
all
this.
the manifestations.
Is that unbelievable?
Yeah.
And but he says that he learned his depth perception at that spot out there.
Oh, wow. That's
trying
cool.
to shag flies, that's an amazingly more difficult thing than you would think in a stadium like that. It's not easy to. I mean, I'll never forget the time I was standing out there in Fenway Park. Jeff, you know this. They have that in the wall, in the Green Monster. The door, there's a door, and you go in there, and all the guys have signed. Probably goes back to flipping Babe Ruth. I don't even know. There's signatures from everybody, right? And so we had a new Ranger on the team at the time. I don't remember who. Might have been Derek Holland when he was a rookie. Out there we go with him to shoot him, signing the wall. Come back out, and now early BP's taking place, and they're shooting balls like over your head. And I couldn't believe how short that field is and how fast those balls came.
Yeah.
I wasn't wearing a glove.
That's why the wall is so tall, because it is so short to left field. And
yeah.
That's why right-handed hitters have so many doubles, and
Yep.
because it doesn't take much. You can hit a little fly ball,
Yeah.
and it's going to
Yeah.
hit off that wall. So,
Yeah.
Judge is from California too, but he's from up the
Right.
street.
Yeah.
And more of the Bay Area guy by Stockton. He ended up going to Fresno State.
Yep.
So I'm sure there are multiple California ties that we are leaving out.
Do you want to hear a fun thing I just found out though?
Yeah.
Garrett Cole faced Juan Soto in 2019 in the World Series.
Wow.
And Soto hit 2 home runs off of him.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're on the
They're
same team
teammates now. Good
But,
thing, yeah. Yeah.
So that's just a fun little tie there. But
I think Cole pitched the deciding game in that series. Might have pitched Game 7. Maybe it was Game
he
6.
pitched
Yeah.
Game 1
Game 1
and Game 5.
Okay.
In Game 5.
Then I'm-
And then,
but anyway,
One was a
and
loss.
when Judge was in high school, Jeff was mentioning that. Let's take a look, Elijah, at the sort of
the
retrospective
multi-athlete that he
of
is.
him, and look at those numbers. And they went back to Stanton's high school and asked his coach in high school, and just as Aaron Judge likely could have, Stanton's high school coach
17
said he could have
touchdowns.
probably played professionally in any one of those 3 sports. Both of them, I believe, could do it. We haven't had a lot of people do that. Obviously, Deion Sanders did it. Dave Winfield was a guy
He was
you
drafted in
remember
all 3
who was
sports,
drafted
yeah.
in all 3 sports. It's not something that can be done given the overlap of schedules and all those kinds of things now. But Bo Jackson did it.
and it's just
happened.
not fair. Like, you
Yeah.
can't be that good
In
at
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's one of my favorite documentaries is I think the ESPN 30 for 30, and it might have been after their original countdown of Bo Jackson. Just what a study!
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I worked with the Birmingham Barons and the White Sox, they had Michael Jordan galore.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can't
Yeah.
forget that. If
Yeah, as
you're
good
of-
as
if
he
you're
was,
of that
though,
age.
Never quite made it to the majors, though.
No.
Yeah, good as he was. So, but he was pretty good at basketball, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Trying to remember. So, is there anything else on this list? Let me look.
Oh, hey, there is one thing I wanted
Yeah.
to clean up when we were talking about the World Series or the potential Hall of Famers on the Dodgers and the Yankees, and
Yeah.
we went back to the '96 series.
Yeah.
I left out Fred McGriff and Chipper Jones, who
Oh,
are in
yeah.
the Hall of Fame, and then
Yeah.
the managers,
Right.
Torrey and Bobby Cox are both
yep.
in the Hall of Fame. So that's 11 if you want to count the managers.
Yep. Quick note: the Dodgers are going to honor, Fernando Valenzuela with a patch on their uniform starting tonight, and
The
then
whole
all
series.
through the 2025 season as well. So if you're looking and trying and wondering to figure out what the new patch on the Dodgers uniform is, it is
It'll be
an honor
34.
of Fernando and Fernando Mania. Yeah. Died earlier this week at 63 years old. So
They'll do a moment of silence tonight before Game 1 as well.
yeah, and along the lines of that Aaron Boone and Dave Roberts relationship, Jeff, that you were talking about earlier, with the two of them not liking each other and admitting it when they were in college. When he landed in Los Angeles yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, Aaron Boone says that he wanted to announce his arrival to his friend Dave Roberts, so he just sent him a Yankees emoji. And Dave goes, I wanted to send him one back that just had one finger. But he goes, I sent a laughing emoji instead. So
That's fine.
there you go.
Brad Paisley will be singing the national anthem.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big Brad Paisley.
Me too. When my dad was in 2006, it was Miley Cyrus. And so he actually went to meet her, got an autograph, and then ended up talking and worked out a deal. I went out to LA later that year to watch her Hannah Montana show being
Oh,
recorded.
no kidding.
Yeah. So, no, that,
She
it's
was still Hannah?
yeah.
But
I mean, I was young.
No, but I mean, she still was at that point, I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. 2006.
And
That was back in the day, Rads.
I wouldn't have guessed that she was doing both concerts or that type of thing and still doing Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah, she, that was her prime.
I didn't think she was Miley until she was no longer Hannah, if
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean. Right?
It was fun. But no, Brad Paisley is going to be so much better than, my goodness, the All-Star.
oh, that poor girl.
Yeah, poor thing.
We won't get into that.
I've been meaning to check up to see if she actually went to rehab. and completed
yeah.
it. Not that I am cynical in that nature, but I'm a little cynical in that.
Yeah. Well, it's jaded.
Well, Brad Paisley
Yeah.
will be a lot better for my ears.
No
so.
rehab for him.
No.
Great
He's
guy.
going to sound great. So, game 1 tonight. We will be back on Monday. We will have 2 games to talk about at that point. We'll have lots of Rangers news to talk about, as we always do. And, of course, then we will continue to follow this World Series and continue to get guests. Shoot us in the chats and shoot us over Twitter who you'd like to see in this studio. We had so much fun with JD yesterday. Hope you did too. So, stay with us. Keep chatting with us. Keep talking to us. And we want this to be your show as much as it is our show. So that's going to do it for this edition of the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.